So I have made the decision to start up college again. Yeah, I'm going to further my education. Working in accounting, upgrading your education isn't necessarily required or anything like that, but I'm doing this and I'm in my late 30s, and that's a little intimidating in some ways. I am going to be going to college in person, and I'm definitely intimidated at the thought that most of the people there are probably going to be a little younger than me, or even a lot younger than me, but that's okay. I still feel like it's the right decision, and that small bit of intimidation is really not worth stressing out about. Because it's been so long since I went to college before, I don't really have transferable transcripts, and my credits are all too old to be considered usable, and it's probably a good thing to brush up on my education anyway. It's also interesting because I'm so much older than the last time I went to college. I'm eligible for a lot more in the way of like grants and scholarships and things like that I just was not eligible for at all because I was younger than 24. And once you're older than 24, you have a lot more options, like a lot. That's been very cool and interesting to go through and encounter. It's awesome in some ways that I already have experience with school. I've already been there, done that. I took some assessments, and lo and behold, my education retention is apparently pretty decent, so yay for that. I don't have to retake a whole bunch of the crap that I already had taken, and that's awesome. I only have to retake a tiny bit of it that is required, so furthering my education with accounting is going to be great. That's going to be awesome. I genuinely feel like this is the right path and the right choice. Despite that, usually you imagine like a younger person going to college. Now, that being said, I kind of feel like we put way too much pressure on young people to go to college. When I went to college before, I didn't really know what I was doing or what I even wanted to do with my life. And I didn't know for sure what I even needed. And I meet college students who are younger who say stuff like that, and that they don't know what they're doing or they don't know their direction in life. And I just keep thinking, man, they are saddling themselves with like student loans and all this pressure, and they're going to end up changing their major anyway partway through. Why don't they just wait? If a person, when they're 18, just gets a random retail job, some crapo job that they necessarily need to survive, but they don't necessarily want for their whole life, it is going to be a straight up amount of time to work for the most part, unless you get stuck with a retail place that wants you to work overtime all the time. Those places suck. But unless you actually want that money. But when you're younger, you usually want to have a life, and the thing that is in movies, college is portrayed as this giant frat party that's just non-stop getting drunk and going out at night. And in actuality, college is a bunch of schoolwork and doing homework. And if you're staying up all night, it's probably because you're finishing up a project or something. Yes, there are some parties, and yes, there are some people who go to them, but the majority of the students are doing that rarely and doing schoolwork the majority of the time. The movie scene of college is not super realistic for the majority of people. And so people who want to go like have a life or experience fun things and stuff, I say wait. If you're not getting a degree that takes like more than 8 years, if you're getting a degree that's like, a doctorate, or you want to become a surgeon, you want to become a specialist in veterinary skills for brain surgery on pets. Okay, yes, start school right away. Go for it. But if you just want to get a 4-year childhood education degree, it's okay to wait a year or two. Start investing with the leftovers of the money you've already been earning from your ittle-piddle retail job, and while you're in college, that money will keep growing. If you wait enough years, you can hit 24 and get past a lot of the barriers to grants and cheaper student loans, better options for scholarships. Like, there's a lot of doors that open up once you get past the 24-year-old threshold. So it's not necessarily fair to young people who have no experience with life yet, haven't figured out what they want to do with themselves, haven't figured out who they are yet. They're just trying to get their foot through the door into adulthood. They're literally just starting into adulthood, and shove a ton of pressure on them and put them in a pressure cooker to make something happen that's actually very expensive, hard, and quite frankly not going to necessarily be the path they actually want, just because it's an expectation. We want to get them into the workforce as fast as possible, but that's not actually what's best for them. What's best for them is to know what they want and know what they want to do with their life, know what they want to do with their path, and then pursue getting into the workforce while knowing something about what kind of work they want to do. And quite frankly, not sabotaging them financially with massive hardship and student loans that are just, quite frankly, predatory, using compound interest against them. It's not right. And again, I'm saying this as someone who works in the financial spectrum. So just from a financial point of view, it makes way more sense to me for a kid to graduate high school and take a few years to just work some crappy little job where they have plenty of time left over at the end of the day to actually do things and explore things, hang out with friends, go take walks by themselves, go travel a little bit, and also put a little bit of that earning of that income into an investment of some sort. And there's some kids who grow up in a crappy childhood and they're not going to be able to like stay living with their parents. It's going to be harder for them to get started. I understand that because that was me. But if you can actually have really nice parents who let you live with them for a few years, awesome. It saves you the rent money and you can invest even more. Then while you're in college and you're getting better student loans, better scholarships, better grants, and you're pursuing a career path that you don't need to change your major partway through because you actually have an idea of what you want. You don't need to be wishy-washy about stuff or intimidated about stuff because you've got some world experience and you have some confidence built up in yourself. You've been an adult for a few years and it's not as terrifying. Then you do some college, and while you're in college, while you're doing stuff, your investments that you already started are growing and developing compound interest that works for you. The younger you start investing, the better it is for the rest of your life. You want to be able to retire early, start investing at 18. You want to be able to skip some of the hardship when you get older and you have less energy, and you want to be able to not have to stress as much about how much you're investing in your 30s and in your 40s, in your 50s. Start when you're 18, when you're 20, when you're any of those ages. Any time before 30, you are making a massive step in a direction to help your future self. And if that means not taking all that pressure to just jump into college right away, then that's fine. And quite frankly, at 24, you're still going to be able to request your transcripts from high school, unlike me in my late 30s. So you even have that as an easy thing to get to. There are some difficulties with going at an older age, and I'm not trying to say those don't exist. I'm just saying the benefits of going at an older age versus a younger age, having done both, doing it past 24, so much less stressful, so much easier. And That might not be true for every single person. And again, if you want a big degree, you already know you want to go into a really, really specific career that requires a lot of schoolwork. I'm not talking to you. It's okay. Go for it. Go become that awesome thing. But seriously, you can get a 4-year degree for accounting even, like, and just go work. You don't need a zillion years of education to do that. You can get just a bachelor in finances if you want to be a financial advisor or something. I personally am upgrading my education, as it were. If you want to make a little bit of a pivot in your life and you're already, again, past 30, it's okay. It's okay to go back to school. It's okay to go get another 2 years or 4 years tacked on after you've already established yourself, already started building up your budget, already started building up your finances, started an investment account. It's okay. It's okay to do these things. Don't let the pressure or the fear of I'm going to be the oldest person in that classroom possibly keep you from doing something that could benefit you 5 years from now. Are you going to be glad that you did this and looking at your path in life in a whole different way because you have this education that you pursued? Or 5 years from now, are you going to be doing the same old thing that you're doing right now? And how happy are you doing what you're doing right now? Because your happiness level isn't going to magically increase if you keep doing the same thing. Give yourself a real chance.